All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Puck Rock Rangers. I'm Stefan. This is Palmer, and let's just get into this, man.
Yeah, we're going to recap the Stanley Cup Finals. This is Monday the 16th, is it?
I never
15th,
know
16th, irrelevant. It's Monday, the day after the Stanley Cup Finals was wrapped up, has been won by the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games.
Yeah.
We're going to get into all that. But first, let's just catch everyone up. It's been a couple weeks. What's going on in your world?
Dude, work has been crazy. I've been super swamped. I'm booking 2 months out sometimes now it's just I just keep getting this influx of new people, and it's a blessing and a curse. I'd like to be outside fishing and hanging out and chilling with the kids, but money is to be made, so I can't complain there. Aside from work, I haven't been outside a whole lot. I've been, maybe 30 minutes here and there. I'll go outside and just catch some fresh air. It's hot as hell, but if you know me, I'm a reptile, so I like that.
Yeah.
And just watching hockey and watching a little bit of basketball, which is new to me. So we'll get into that, I'm sure. But what about you, man?
Yeah, we'll talk some Knicks too. Yeah, life is lifing. My knee is definitely getting better, but it's kept me inside. It's kind of kept me from some activities.
It's your high knee, right?
It is my high knee from too many kicks. So, but it's getting a lot better. Definitely walking around a lot better. It's kept me from doing some of the fun shit I like to do. But we did go camping last weekend.
Nice.
Took both the dogs. First time taking both of them tent camping, so that was a lot of fun. And just had a nice time. Things are going well with COVID. What can I say? We're right here in the summer. NHL has wrapped. NFL has wrapped. I'm sorry, NBA has wrapped. NFL is right around the corner. I know you're not so into that, but I just got the fantasy league all set up, so ready to switch gears. But we're here to talk hockey, and we'll get right into it. We're gonna talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. We can go game by game. We can just talk about it in general. What stood out to you? Where do you want to start with this?
Do you care if we just brief over the Knicks real quick before we get into hockey? Because, I know you said you kind of tuned in a little. It's new to me.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
We can get into that.
It's something I honestly I care more that the Knicks won the title than I do that the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. So,
let's talk some Knicks.
I'd like to talk about that. I'm a shooby. I don't know anything about basketball, but I'm pretty much a greater New York sports fan. So the Knicks were on this crazy run, and I didn't watch any of the run except for in the finals. I missed the first game. I watched the second, third, fourth, and fifth game, and man, it was exciting to watch. For somebody who's not that into it, I was pretty locked into it, and it was a lot of excitement. And there was a trend, the trend of this Spurs being the dominant team in the first half, and then the Knicks just come back every single game.
Couldn't count them
every
out.
Single game come back from double-digit numbers. So, what are your thoughts on it, man?
I'm not a basketball fan. I've never really watched a full game. I appreciate it as a sport. Obviously, I follow it here and there. I hear things. It was awesome to see the Knicks go on a run. Big for New York sports. Like Stephen said, I felt the same way when the Yanks were in the World Series a couple seasons ago. If a New York team has a chance to do something and it's not one of the teams that I don't like, I'm going to be in support. Big for the city. Maybe some of that magic will rub off on their tenants, on their roommates, the Rangers. We'll see. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't get to watch many of the games or any of the games, but I did stream along with Shoutout Bad Dog Sports. He's a New York Giants creator. He does some Lakers games too, but he is a Knicks fan. He does Lakers games so he can do later games and spend time with his fan. But anyways, watching his streams was really funny because he is a very animated, very opinionated New Yorker, and the the big game, the big comeback game, that was game 4, right? Where they were down like 29. So I was watching along on the stream, and I mean, this guy was so dejected. I mean, he was saying that the Knicks were blowing it, that the Spurs were going to win this thing, that it was all over. I mean, this guy was... And I fell asleep on that note, and I woke up. I had the stream still playing on my phone, and I came to and woke up literally like with like a minute left in the game.
You're like,
And to fall asleep, this guy is literally like crying in his beer, and he was going off and excited and jumping around and going crazy. And shout out Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang comes out and plays at halftime in game 4. And Method Man says right there, he says, Knicks in 5. And dude, the whole thing turned around. They erased that deficit, won game 4, won game 5. It is so hard to close out a series. It is so hard to win that game 5 and close it out. So many teams falter to do that. So yeah, great on the Knicks, man. You know, watching my boy Bad Dog Sports crash out and then celebrate was pretty awesome. And yeah, it's great for New York sports. It had been, I'm not going to do the math here. I think it's been like 16 or 17 years since
2012.
Yeah, 2011, 2012 New York Giants was the last New York Big Four championship. I realized that I think the female basketball team won. The Lady Liberty won a year or so ago. But either way, big for New York sports. Definitely got me sucked in. And I might, I'm not going to watch every game, but I might keep an eye on the Knicks here and there. Why not?
Yeah, maybe this is a dynasty, because the way they played, nobody was beating them. Nobody was going to beat them. They had the hot hand. They have a veteran presence. They got Jalen Brunson, who's just putting up 40 points a game.
I'll say this right now, that the NBA does a really good job of marketing their stars, whether you like the stars or not. And Jalen Brunson is about as likable of a guy.
Yeah, smaller dude.
Smaller dude, wears the number 11 just like Messier.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There was echoes of Messier, man. The way I'd be listening to the stream and it was like, Brunson. I mean, he's a dog. And I couldn't help but think watching that shit. I was like, I was commenting on the thread too. I was like, dude, the Rangers don't have half of a Brunson on this fucking roster.
And it's funny because then after the game ended, they hold up Brunson points count. They had Brunson and then they had rest of the team. And it was Brunson was like 45 and the rest of the team combined was like 49 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was funny.
No, Brunson, I mean, heroic. I mean, for two hockey guys on a podcast to be sitting here talking about it, I mean, heroic run. Yeah. Heroic run for the Knicks. Huge for New York City and huge for New York sports, man. Hopefully New York can get its swagger back. You and I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. And the Yankees were winning Stanley Cups. The Yankees were winning World Series. I turned 18 and turned 21. Those 2 years, both the Giants won the fucking Super Bowl. The Rangers were going to the finals. It was a good 2014. Time, and then everything's cooled off. The Yankees are in the mix every year, but can't seem to do it. So good on the Knicks, man. It's been 53 years since they've won.
And I'm just hoping that the connection, which is Dolan, Dolan went out there and said, sorry it took so long. And, the Knicks are his baby. And I'm hoping that just maybe him getting that W would be like, well, maybe now we got to get the Rangers one. So we're going to do what it takes to get the Rangers one now. That would be, the best case scenario. So, in the next couple of years, we could get some huge moves and him really invest and buy into this Rangers organization.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But, shout out Knicks. Shout out Brunson. All the Knicks fans. I think of, I texted my buddy Mo. I texted cousin Shane, big Knicks fan. Some of my Knicks friends I had to reach out to. And, it's just huge for the city, man. You ready to move on to some hockey?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what was your prediction going into the finals?
So, my prediction, I thought probably Vegas in 6. And I would have really stuck with that up until, things fell apart at the end. It was a very compelling, back and forth, wacky, wide open, no lead was safe series, and then games 5 and 6 kind of the Canes really just kind of took over. Vegas looked slow. But yeah, I would have thought Vegas in 6. I just thought the way they took care of Avalanche was crazy.
I had Canes in 7. And that was my prediction. That's what I told everybody. Canes in 7. Did I want Canes in 7? No. I wanted a game 7 regardless of who won.
Yeah.
I wasn't super invested. I really would have liked Vegas to force a game 7 and inevitably win, just because the Canes, they're a division rival, so it makes sense for me not to want them to win. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. It was The first 4 games were electric. They were absolutely insane to watch. So you have 4-goal deficits being erased in the NHL playoffs, and you have 29-point comebacks going in the NBA playoffs. Like, this playoff season was just a fun season to watch between the basketball and the hockey. So,
well, and I would say, good on the Stanley Cup Finals for being as entertaining and as wacky as it was, because it pulled in some casuals like my buddy John I work with. He's not a big hockey fan, but he came into work hype, and I actually was working with these other folks, and this older lady was from Wisconsin, and the other guy was like casual hockey fans. They were locked in. So it's good for the sport.
Yeah.
I was totally ready to write it off as a who gives a shit series. I think everyone was, and the games had to be that good to get everyone pulled in, and they were that good.
Yeah. I was definitely in the camp of there's going to be 11 shots a game. Carolina, if they can get 2 goals quick, it'll be flip it out the rest of the game, and that's just how they play. But it wasn't. Those first 4 games, it was good quality hockey. I just think the fatigue really caught up with Vegas, because games 5 and 6, Carolina dominated them. They still had their legs. They still had their composure. And really just Vegas had no answer for what they were bringing. That tight as a clam's ass, shut down, no room, suffocate you. That's just the style they play. There's no team that deserved it more than Carolina either.
Yeah.
So.
I thought, earlier in the series, there were moments in games, like whole moments, full swings during the game, where Vegas really was taken to Carolina physically. The shit between the whistles, chippiness, and that really evaporated. And I noticed it myself, but I was watching the Steve Dangle game recap, and he kind of brought that up too. He was like, here we are in the 3rd period, late in the 2nd, and there's no nonsense going on between the whistles. I think of teams like Vegas, or not Vegas. I think of teams like Tampa Bay, like Florida, like the Caps when they went on that run, like Vegas actually when they won. They were nasty, they were mean, they would fuck with you between the whistles, and I didn't see really any of that from Vegas in games 5 and 6. It was very sedate. I didn't see the urgency I needed. I watched the game with my buddy Chase. Shout out Chase, big Canes fan. So I'm happy for you, bud. Watching the game with him,
yeah.
And we're just sitting here like talking shit. We're kind of watching the game and going back and forth, having a conversation. It wasn't as urgent, fire wagon hockey as you'd expect. For a team that was down 2-0 with a couple minutes late in the 3rd or late in the 2nd. So. I guess all that's to say that it started off really good. A lot of excitement, a lot of back and forth hockey, wide open hockey. You figured those 2 coaches were going to reel shit back in, and they did. I think Bussy restored order for.
Yeah, he played insane.
He was the difference. That's the X factor. If how could it not be?
Because Hart had a rough going.
Hart had a pretty good game 6. I'll give him that. That was his best game, by far. But his boys didn't score. No one scored. I thought for sure in Game 3, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I thought for sure in Game 3 when Mitchie scored the hat trick, I was like, that's your Conn Smythe winner. He's getting that monkey off his back.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of cooled off. Jack Eichel had a ton of assists, but I only think he had like 3 goals the whole playoffs. That's not acceptable.
And not a single goal. Like he's one of their bona fide superstars, and he just had a sleepy, terrible
Very
series.
Sleepy. And then they lost.
He did not contribute barely anything in the entire series.
Yeah, lost William Karlsson. That hurt. So Yeah, good on the Canes for taking it. I was talking to Chase about it last night, and I don't say this because I'm a Ranger fan, but the Rangers weren't there to beat them. The Panthers weren't there to beat them. I mean, they really had favorable matchups. It was going to be a shame if they didn't make it to the finals and win this year, and they did. So
yeah, and there was some questionable coaching decision too on Torts. Like, you gotta play Aiden Hill. Like, he's a Stanley Cup winner. He won the Stanley Cup. I mean, I think Hart's save percentage was like .830. Like, that's not good enough. You got to be at least above 9. Like, you got to be playing at least above 9. And then another one is like scratching Kolasar. Like, Kolasar has been
awful.
I don't think so.
No, that brutal call.
Yeah, I think Kolasar has been good.
No,
I think he's been a good addition in the lineup. He's been contributing. He may not be scoring all these goals, but like when his line was out there, they were, Carolina was somewhat getting pinned in their own zone. They may not be making crazy high danger chances,
and that's
but
your
they
shit
were.
stirrer.
Yeah, they were really wearing them out. And then you want to scratch him. You don't want to change goalies. So there were some questionable calls on Tortorella, and who knows how the outcome would have been had he actually, stuck with Kolasar and put Hill in instead. We don't know, but
we don't know.
You got to try something else. It's an elimination game, and he just kept it the same.
You see him roast Laz with that question.
What was it?
Johnny Lazarus asked Torts before Game 6 if he was thinking about switching over to Aiden Hill. He hadn't seen that clip?
I did. I didn't see the clip. I saw.
That's the dumbest question I've ever been asked. Why the hell would you ask me that?
I saw that he. I saw that he said that, but I didn't see the clip. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was our boy Johnny Laz. That's so on brand for him. That is so on brand.
So on brand. Like, I was actually I have I was texting friends and stuff throughout the series, and most of the people I was messaging were really rooting for Carolina, and we were on the same camp of like, we really want to see Tortorella blow a gasket. Like, he's the funniest coach in the league when it comes to like losing your mind and saying off the wall crap. We didn't really get that. I guess with the Johnny Laz question, we got a little bit, but
he's calmed down a little in his older years.
He's probably got his grandbabies to worry about now, so he's not as crazy about it.
But yeah, I mean, another NHL season wraps. The playoffs. They were, in my opinion, a little low on drama, but fun series, good teams, and good on the Canes. I'm not going to sit here and hate. I think we do something we need to address on the podcast is the tall, dark, and handsome elephant in the room.
Oh yeah, Miller, Mr.
Keandre Aloysius Miller. I don't know if that's his middle name, but Keandre Miller. It would be easy for us to come on here, and I'll speak for myself. I'll let Stefan get to his point. It would be easy for us to come on here and yell and scream and pound the table and curse. Look, I'm not mad at it, man. He was declining with us for one reason or not on a bad team. He gets to a team on with a solid system. He's asked to do less, and he came through. It's funny. I think people want to troll and make it seem like he was Nick Lindstrom in his prime. I didn't see that. But I saw a solid player on a good team that's got a future there. Happy for him. I mean, look, no bones about it. Was critical of him when he was here. Was not a big fan. Still not a big fan. But I also try not to be a PhD, a player hating dickhead, and give credit where credit's due. Good on him. Going to a new home, winning the cup, and it just kind of burns the fire under my ass. Hopefully, it burns the fire under Drury's ass to get a cup for the Rangers, because we keep sending guys out and they keep having success, and it just seems like with every player we lose, the team gets worse and deeper into the mud.
Yeah.
So good on you, Andre Miller, man. I'm not mad at it. I still think you're kind of a punk, but happy for him in a way, and I'm not going to sit here and hate on him. Yeah.
So if you ask a lot of Hurricanes fans, they're going to tell you that Keandre Miller was their best defenseman throughout the playoffs.
False.
You don't think so?
But I think that's a false claim.
that he was the best throughout the playoffs for the Hurricanes?
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, I was in a lot of the group. I would hop into some of the live feeds and stuff, and every single time I would bring up Miller, they were all like, "Dude, he's been rock solid for us throughout maybe not throughout just the finals, but throughout the entirety of the playoffs." And they would tell you that he was like probably one of their best or their second best, if not. And then look, who was one of the best players for Vegas?
Brett
Howden, like an ex-Ranger.
I was just
so it's just the curse. Like players, there's got to be something about the atmosphere in New York where players are just like, it's like there's some toxicity to playing in big cities like New York, Toronto, Detroit, places like that, where it's just like hockey's like the main thing. They go to these other cities. There's a little less pressure on them. And they're able to prosper. So I don't know, man. Good on Keandre Miller. I mean, we got a good little piece for him too. Like I would, if we could go back and make the trade again, I would. Another first round pick for him. Like I'd make that all day.
Look, it's on us not to bumble the pick. It's easy for Carolina to celebrate right now, and they can. We haven't made those picks yet. They haven't developed. This is a trade that you really can't compare until 3-4 years down the road, and you see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good on them.
So what does this mean? We get the 32nd pick.
So
we got the 5th and the 32nd in this draft.
Yes.
Carolina would have made that trade all day too because they just won a Stanley Cup. They would have 100% all day, every day, made that trade 100 times over, knowing that they were going to win the Stanley Cup afterwards.
And maybe this is a slight concession or maybe something that'll make Ranger fans feel a little better, but we're not the only ones, man. Look at Nikolai Ehlers. Spent his whole career in Winnipeg, knocked on the door a couple times, was in a bad situation, came to Carolina and won a cup.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Rangers. It's easy to look at it and be like, oh, this guy, that guy. Look, Mitch Marner was almost that guy for Toronto, and we really would have honked on the clown's nose because everyone, and myself included, loves to pick on Toronto. So that would have been the talk of the town. So look, we deserve it. We fans don't deserve it. Chris Drury and those assholes running the program deserve it. They should be embarrassed. We are certainly embarrassed.
Yes.
And we demand a better product moving forward. But yeah, let's wrap up the finals talk. I know you wanted to talk Dylan, Larkin.
Yeah, I just I seen that he had a three team no. He has a full no moves clause. He requested a trade out of Detroit. His 3 teams was what? Vegas, Florida, and what's the other one? There's one more.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I'll be honest, I haven't been following that
But yeah, it was like 3 teams.
He's not coming to the Rangers, so I have not.
I would love for him to become a Ranger, but it's just not realistic, I don't think. Yeah, I just think it's cool. I know Detroit fans are a little bit upset, like they're heartbroken over this. But can you blame the guy?
Well, he's
been their best player every year. Detroit, and the management is not giving him pieces that he needs to succeed.
Detroit really needs to get it together.
There's nothing else to it.
They had a playoff spot for most of the season, and then
March.
It's like a couple teams like them, the Islanders, and like a couple other teams in the East just completely floundered at the end of the season. It was like they were fighting to not make it, and the
Flames.
The Red Wings. Well, the Flames are out west.
Oh,
but the Red Wings are definitely in that category, and need to get it together. But yeah, look at Larkin. He's not coming to the Rangers. I mean, look, he's on an 06 franchise that's bumbling decisions and not like holding up their end of the deal. Why would he come to the Rangers? It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Big city, 06 team that can't get out of their own fucking way. He's gonna go to one of these teams that winning. We're starting to see a light version of what's going on in the NBA and other sports too, where players are picking their own destiny and they're not going to slug it out with a team for 10, 12 seasons if they don't see the direction. If they don't, look, I'm not predicting anything about Fox, but Fox is going to be in the same situation in another year or two if shit doesn't improve. He's going to want out. Igor's going to want out if Drury can't get his head out of his ass. It's the same thing that's happened with Larkin. It's the same thing that happened with Mitch Marner. It's the same thing that happened with Jack Eichel. if these guys aren't seeing a direction and they're not seeing a fucking path to winning, they're gonna want out. Yeah, and that's exactly what you're seeing. Larkin is from Michigan. You don't think he wants to play for the winged wheel and win there? I mean, he's willing to go somewhere else because he doesn't see the direction. And you see it, we're living in a version of it too, where you're seeing an ex-player who's respected by the organization, who probably gets more chances and more of a leash as a GM, whether it's Chris Drury for the Rangers or Stevie Y for the Red Wings. Yes, Steve Yzerman was a hell of a hockey player. Doesn't always translate to GM. The Yzer plan's not working like it did in Tampa Bay.
Do you think Detroit wants Yzerman fired more, or do you think New York wants Drury fired more?
New York wants Drury fired more.
You think so?
I think the fans.
Are you sure about that?
I'm biased. I don't know as much of what's going on in Red Wings land.
I don't know, man. Like Red Wings, I feel like Yzerman has put them through more than Drury has put us through.
You ever watch that Chappelle Show bit where it goes down the line through time, every different president? Truman's fucking up. Yzerman's fucking up.
Yeah,
reminds me.
Like it's just one of those GMs who falls into the class of like again. And why is he still here after all this? 10 years of not making playoffs. Well, I'm not saying he was
I would say the difference, Steph, and I'd have to do my research and see where the pulse is on Red Wings Nation. I would say the difference is Stevie Y is a legit franchise GOAT, won cups. Drury was a decent Ranger, did all of his winning.
Wasn't he on the 94 squad?
No.
No,
Drury
he
won his cup.
The 2004.
Drury won his cup with the Avalanche.
That's right.
And then he played with Buffalo, and then he played with the Rangers. And he wasn't a very good captain. He wasn't really a very good Ranger. So he doesn't have the credentials with the Rangers that Stevie Y does. So I would say Rangers probably are like, fuck this guy. He's not he didn't win with us. Why are we like, ooh, he's a winner? He was on a loaded team.
Yeah, was that when Sakic and Forsberg,
hey dude,
Patrick Waugh,
Adam Foote. just player after player after player. Yeah. Alex Tanguay. Just the insane squad. So, I wanted to talk to you. Have any more Dylan Larkin or free agency? We can get more into that, free agency and the draft.
We'll get into that closer to the draft and all that.
We need to look at the schedule too. See when the draft is coming up. I'd like to get up either before or after the draft. And
maybe we can do a live feed.
Maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that works out. I wanted to touch on something real quick, and I think we can get out of here.
Yeah.
Is what the fuck is going on in Edmonton? I don't think it's official. I'd have to check in. I've been kind of just disconnected.
And I wanted to talk about Laviolette too.
Laviolette,
very briefly.
Yeah, that's fine. But so in case you haven't been paying attention, Edmonton Oilers have. I'd have to see.
There are no Nurse requesting a trade,
but they pretty much hired career bad guy villain Mike Babcock. This guy hasn't coached anything in forever. If you remember in 2023, he was hired by Columbus and didn't even make it to the season and was
because of some toxic drama.
Because he was going through people's phones. Because he's pulled other shit with Mitch Marner and his other stops. He might be an okay guy, whatever, but he's a shitty person on with handling people. He's he won a cup on a loaded Red Wings team or with a Red Wings team. I just don't know what the fuck they're thinking. It's like this boys club that they just can't go outside the box and hire someone. I think they're trying to play that macho role. Tampa Bay won because they were bad. And Florida won because they were bad, and Vegas has won because they're mean and they're bad.
They're big.
They make all these decisions, and they're crude like businessmen. And I think Vegas is trying to do that, but it's almost like fake tough guy shit. You're hiring a guy that's basically been blackballed by the league. They're gonna investigate the moment they do hire him. The NHL said if you hire him, we're investigating fully what happened in Columbus. So I'll wrap this up, man. I just think it's a shit show, and I'll be honest, man. I really can't stand the Oilers. I've gotten to the point with them. I have no reason to hate them, but I just do. They're not an Oilers fan.
They're annoying.
They are annoying. And they make decisions like that.
It's a waste. It's a waste of McDavid.
And I'll be honest, man. Like I like McDavid, and in a way, I feel bad for him.
And Leon Draisaitl.
I'm not a big McDavid fan. McDavid set the league back when he signed that fucking 2-year extension for $5 more than he was making. What an idiot, man. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say that. I know Greg Kaplan went real hard on him on Blue Shirt Breakaway. I don't like to talk that kind of shit about people. I think he is a smart person, obviously. But what a terrible decision. Terrible for the league. And between that and just some of the decisions they've made, I'm not a fucking fan. And I don't want this to work out. I can't wait for it to blow up in their face.
Oh, and it's going to. They're on the down. They're on the downward. They're not on the up and up. They had their chances.
I'll be happy to eat my words. Not a chance that they win with Connor McDavid there. Not a chance.
Yeah,
because they refused to address the goaltending situation. They literally did a shit for poop trade in the middle of the season for goalies. Like,
yeah, Edmonton's just not it yet. They got some figuring out to do. They made it to the finals 2 years in a row, lost both times, and now they're on the downward spiral.
When I see the way Edmonton and Toronto
coaches
are run,
changing,
makes
Darnell wants out.
Out.
It's just they're up shit's creek without a paddle.
Them and Toronto, the level of dysfunction makes me feel like the Rangers is at least maybe.
We're right on par with them.
We are.
The Rangers are right on par with them. We got a JT Miller, a captain who does not, who had a record bad year. It's just we're right up there with them. Players wanting out, players hinting that they're leaving. Adam Fox.
Everyone looking better elsewhere.
The only person who's looking promising is Mika and some of the kids. Yeah, it's just we're just as bad as they are, man.
Yep. And we'll see. I mean, like now that the Cup Finals is over, we're about a week or so away from the draft, and free agency will open up. I feel like such a sucker saying this. Hopefully, Drury can get this thing figured out. Yeah. I don't have a lot of faith or confidence in that, but we'll see. There's nothing you and I can do about it. So,
that's right.
I don't know if I have too much more. I think that's probably it. We're gonna check our schedules and try to get another episode out. Either before the draft, during, right after. We'll figure that out. But thanks for rocking with us. Please like, follow, subscribe.
Yep.
We're still out here doing this, and let's get some more hockey going in a couple months. But for now, enjoy your summer, and we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thanks for watching. So forever hold your peace.
Yeah, till next time.
All right, take care, guys.